Hello po! It's Teacher Joy of Teacher Joylyn Online Review. So, kung bago ka pa lang po sa ating YouTube channel, pakiclick na po ang subscribe button para updated kayo sa mga panibagong videos natin. Alright, so teachers, itong 5 items natin ay binigay ko sa inyo kahapon as your assignment. So, now we're going to rationalize or check it through this video. So this is professional education question. Alright, so don't forget to like this video guys. Ayan. So let's start with number 46. Which principle states that learning is most effective when when it is built on the learner's existing knowledge and experience? Letter A, principle of readiness. B, principle of apperception. C, principle of effect. Or letter D, principle of exercise. Alright, so ano yung magiging clue natin dyan? Anong principle daw yung nag-state na yung learning ay mas effective kapag na-build sa learners natin yung kanilang existing knowledge and experience. So, ibig sabihin, no, yung learners ay may previous na experience na may knowledge na sa. So, for example, yung lesson nyo about types of flowers, and then si student may idea na siya kung ano yung mga types of flowers dahil sa bahay nila is tinuturuan siya ng kanyang parents. So, yun, parang katulad dito, no? May experience na si learners, may knowledge na si learners. So, kapag pagdating sa kanilang lesson, kapag ituturo na ni teacher, ay mas magiging effective, mas magiging madali. Alright, so I see a lot of you got the correct answer. That is letter B, principle of apperception. Ang principle of apperception ay associated kay Herbart. That means that new knowledge and skills are best learned when connected to what the learner already knows or has experienced. Teachers apply these by starting with familiar concepts before introducing new ones. So, according kay Herbert, naniniwala siya na ang isang bata ay mas naiintindihan niya daw yung lesson kapag i-connect ito sa experiences niya na or sa lesson na meron na siya or may natutunan na siya before. So, yun, mas nagiging madali. So, para naman sa akin, no, guys, teachers, tama naman yun kasi tayong mga teachers, yun yung ginagawa natin, di ba? I-introduce, start muna tayo sa mga familiar concepts ng mga students natin, and then we will introduce our new lesson. So, may connection dapat para mas relatable sila. So, yon. Okay? Why other options are wrong? Principle of readiness, from the word ready, ibig sabihin, this is most often repeated or best remembered. So, practice strengthens learning. Sinasabi dito sa principle of readiness na kapag ang isang bata ay mas natututo daw siya kapag pinaulit-ulit yung isang bagay, no? For example, ikaw, paano ka ba mag-review? Inulit-ulit mo ba siya para mas ma-remember mo ang isang concept? Ayun. So, principle of exercise ang tawag doon. Kapag pinaulit-ulit mo siya para mas maalala mo or mas maintindihan mo ang isang bagay. Repeated. Ayun, readiness. Next, principle of effect, from the word effect. Ibig sabihin nito, ang learning ay mas na-strengthen daw when accompanied by a pleasant or satisfied feeling and weakened when associated with unpleasant ones. So, principle of effect, nakadepende siya sa magiging epekto ng iyong learning. Sinasabi dito na kapag ang learning daw ay na-strengthened and accompanied by a satisfied feeling, nagiging masaya ka. So, ibig sabihin yan, yung learning mo mas maganda yung effect. mas nare-remembered mo ang isang bagay. Pero kapag ang lessons or ang learning mo ay na weekend, no, nagiging unpleasant, meaning hindi mo na siya mas naaalala. Ayun, principle of effect. So, for example, may isang word ka dyan na gustong dalhin sa araw-araw na living. So, one day, hindi mo na siya nagagamit through sentences, hindi mo na siya nasasalita, hindi mo na siya nasasabi. So, yung magiging effect niyan is nakakalimutan mo na. That is unpleasant one. Ayun. Pero, kung yung word na yon ay ginagamit mo in everyday living, no? Ginagamit mo sa communication mo, magiging maganda ang result or ang effect niyan. So, hindi mo siya nakakalimutan yon. Principle of effect. And of course, principle of exercise, ito naman ay mali pala tayo guys. Sorry. Ang principle of exercise, nagkabaliktad tayo sa readiness. Okay, again, ang principle of readiness, ito pala ay ang learning happens best when the learner is physically, mentally, and emotionally ready. Kapag mas ready ang isang students, physically, mentally, and emotionally, mas natutunan niya ang isang bagay. So, gaya niya, no, tayong mga teachers, ay before tayo mag-umpisa ng ating lesson, we make sure that our students or our pupils is ready to learn or ready for that lesson. So, yan pala, principle of readiness. Kanina, dinefine ko siya, yung exercise na pinaulit-ulit. Ito yung exercise eh. Repeated, no? Mas pinaulit-ulit, mas naaalala mo ang isang bagay. That is exercise. Ang readiness naman, sasabi again na kapag ang isang bata ay physically ready, emotionally ready, socially ready, mas natutunan niya ang isang bagay or ang lesson. So, yon. So, letter B ang ating tamang sagot. Binaliktad ko yung readiness and exercise. Okay, so if you have questions about that, comment nyo lang po sa baba. Okay? Now, let's move on. Number 47. Teacher Lisa designs tasks that requires learners to observe, classify, and analyze patterns. This follows philosophy of letter A, empiricism, B, rationalism, C, constructivism, letter D, behaviorism. Tandaan nyo yun na Teacher Lisa designs tasks daw that requires learners no to observe, classify, and analyze. So, ano yan? Comment your answer. Okay, so I see a lot of you got the correct answer sa ating question number 42. Yes, it's constructivism. Constructivism, letter C. Ang constructivism, guys, ay madali lang yan. Sila ay naniniwala na ang mga learners daw ay actively build or construct, ha? The word is construct their own understanding and knowledge by experiencing things, reflecting, observing, classifying, analyzing, and connecting new ideas to what they already know. So, parang katulad po siya ng principle of a perception. Mas naniniwala sila na ang isang bata daw ay mas natututo kapag inobserbahan, uh, classify, they analyze, and they connect new ideas sa old ideas na nila, kung ano yung natutunan na nila long before. So, that is constructivism. So, dito sa constructivism, ang mga bata din ay construct their own learnings, no? Their sentences, of what they already know, no? Ganon. Constructivism. So, ayun, yung tandaan nyo, no? Observe, classify, analyze, yan po ay definition ng ating constructivism. So, when we say empiricism naman, tandaan lang natin ang senses. Siyempre, all senses, sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of smell, basta senses, sensory experiences. Ganun lang yun. Rationalism, from the word rationally, it means nagre-rely siya sa logic and reasoning. Ganon. Logic and reasoning ang rationalism. Behaviorism, from the word behavior, syempre it's more on response to stimuli and reinforcement. So, dito yan may positive response and may negative response. Reinforcement, no? Behaviorism. Halimbawa, arranging of chairs, that is behaviorism. Yun. Okay, natandaan? So, let's move on, number 48. Number 48, what is the primary legal basis that defines the rights, duties, and responsibilities of professional teachers in the Philippines? So, tandaan, rights, duties, ayun, duties and mga responsibilities ng mga teachers natin. Letter A, 7836, B, RA 4670, C, Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers, letter D, RA 10533. Rights, duties, and mga responsibilities ni teacher. No, dapat professional ka. Okay, yung RA 10533, ano ito? Alam niyo ito eh. Ito ay K to 12 law. Add nyo 5 plus 3, 8 plus 3. 11 plus 1, 12. So, tandaan nyo lang K to 12 law. RA 4670, ito naman po ay Magna Carta. Magna Carta for public school teachers. Ayan. So, ito naman, dito na-cover natin ang mga rights and benefits ng mga teachers. Like, for example, mga salary, mga leave niya, and and tenure. So, wala dito yung mga ethical duties. RA 736, ito naman po ay Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act. Regulates licensure and registration. So, ito. So, ang ating tamang sagot dyan, ethics. So, dyan papasok ang ating mga duties, rights natin, and responsibilities natin bilang teacher. Code of Ethics for professional teachers. Ayan. So, letter C ang ating tamang sagot. Letter C ang ating tamang sagot. Now, let's move on. Number 49. Which assessment is administered before instruction begins to determine what learners already know and what they need to learn. Okay, ang clue natin diyan, ina-administered or ginagawa before instruction. So wala pa yung instruction, ito ay binibigay na ni teacher para ma-determine ang nalalaman na ng mga estudyante at ano yung kailangan pa nilang i-learn. A, formative assessment, B, summative assessment, C, diagnostic assessment, or letter D, placement assessment. Ayan. So, comment your answer for number 49. Binibigay ni teacher before mag-start ang kanyang lesson para malaman kung ano yung natutunan na ni learners or ano pa yung need nilang matutunan. Anong uri ng assessment yan, guys? Okay, so tama naman kayo guys. Ang ating tamang sagot ay diagnostic assessment. That is letter C. Okay, so ang diagnostic assessment ay binibigay before teaching starts to find out what learners already know, what skills they have, and exactly what gaps or needs they have. So the teacher can plan instruction that fits their level. So in that way, kapag nagbigay si teacher ng diagnostic assessment, malalaman niya yung strengths and yung weaknesses ng learners niya. So in that way then is makakapagplano siya kung anong uri ng instruction ang mag-fit sa kanilang level. So yun yung diagnostic assessment. Okay. So, binibigay po siya before instruction. Tandaan nyo before instruction. Okay, what about the formative assessment? Ang formative assessment naman ay binibigay during teaching to check progress and adjust instruction. So, for example, your mga pa-quizzes ni teacher, no? During the teaching. Summative naman ito ay binibigay at the end of the lesson. So, to measure, no, kung ano ba yung napag-aralan na nila. Placement assessment, given before, but yung main goal ng placement is to assign learners to the right class or level. So, kaya tayo nagkaka-placement assessment para malaman natin kung yung student ba, yung pupils ba ay kaya na ba mag-grade 1 or kailangan niyang bumalik sa kinder. Placement assessment, no? To specify, no, yung learning needs or gaps ng isang bata. So, dito sa formative, ulitin ko lang, pwede din ito ibigay before. Kasi pwede ito siya before or during the instruction. Yun yung formative. And, papasok kasi dyan yung pre-test exam natin sa formative. Yan. Pero magfo-focus tayo dito kasi sa what learners already know and ano yung kailangan pa nilang malaman, kaya diagnostic assessment yan. So, letter C ang ating tamang sagot. And now, dito na tayo sa ating panghuling tanong, number 50. Ayan, number 50. So, when a teacher respects and adjusts instructions to match the different cultural backgrounds or learning abilities of students, she is practicing what? Ano yung pinapractice ni teacher kapag nirespeto niya? Kaya niyang i-adjust yung kanyang instruction para lang makapag-match, no? Makamatch sa different cultural backgrounds and learning abilities ng kanyang mga students. Because we all know as a teacher na yung mga estudyante natin ay iba-iba. So, yun doon papasok ang ating cultural student diversity. That means iba-iba yung mga students natin when it comes to background, when it comes to learning abilities, no? Ayun. So, paano si teacher mag-a-adjust? Ano yung gagawin niya? Letter A, different instruction or differentiated instruction. B, direct instruction. C, inquiry-based learning. D, cooperative learning. Okay, pwede nyo i-comment ang inyong sagot for number 50? Okay, so, pwede ba si direct instruction? Guys, ang direct instruction, this is what? This is teacher-centered. So, yung nagfo-focus dito is si teacher lang. Hindi niya binibigyan ng freedom yung mga students niya. So, siya yung magsaselect ng lesson. Tama naman yan. Pero siya din yung magde-decide ng lesson. I mean, kapag, for example, magbigay siya ng exam and then si student ay hindi pumasa, so bahala na siya. Kasi direct instruction teacher-centered. And more likely, hindi niya pinapasalita dito yung mga students niya. Siya lang yung talk ng talk. So, hindi direct instruction. Cooperative learning kaya. When we say cooperative naman, from the word cooperate, meaning ito ay mga groupings. So, sa groupings ba ay masasabi natin na ito yung tamang gawin ni teacher dahil sa paiba-iba or hindi pareho yung kanyang mga students when it comes to cultural, when it comes to learning abilities? Pwede niyang gawin, no? Pwede niyang gawin, for example, igrupo niya yung mga pareho na mga students na magagaling sa writing. And then, igugrupo niya din yung magagaling sa singing. Pwede. So, leave natin yan. Letter C, kaya inquiry-based learning. Magtatanong si teacher, no, through investigation. In that way, kaya ma-adjust niya yung mga student diversity natin. Pwede din, no? Pwede din. Si teacher na lang bahala sa questions. Sige, what about differentiated instruction? From the word differentiated, meaning iba-iba. So, differentiated instruction means the teacher proactively adopts content, activities, materials, and assessments to suit the different needs, abilities, interests, and cultural backgrounds of learners. So, exactly what the question describes. So, differentiated instruction, si teacher ay hindi lang magfo-focus sa isang instruction. Ibig sabihin, the teacher will adopt the content based sa kanyang students' needs, students' abilities. Magbibigay siya ng assessment na magsushoot sa kanyang mga students, and of course, materials, no? Na magsushoot din sa kanyang students. So, alin kaya dyan? Ang pinakamaganda? Yes, tama. Letter A ang pinakamaganda. Differentiated instruction. Meaning, kung iba-iba yung mga students mo, huwag ka lang mag-focus sa isang instruction. Kasi kawawa naman yung iba. For example, bilang teacher, yung iba magaling sa singing, no? Yung mga students mo. Pero yung iba naman, magaling sa acting. So, bilang teacher, you will give them the differentiated instruction kung saan they will also match their interest sa iyong instruction. In that way, mas relatable, mas gaganahan silang makinig sa lesson mo or mag-participate sa lesson mo. So, ang ating tamang sagot dyan, guys, ay letter A, differentiated instruction. So, yun na, tandaan yun. Direct instruction, more on teacher-centered. Inquiry-based learning, more on questioning. No? Cooperative learning, groupings naman yan. So, inquiry cooperative, pwede gawin yan ni teacher sa differentiated instruction. So, doon na siya under. So, ang ating tamang sagot ay letter A. Ayun. So, thank you so much everyone. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. Tapos na po tayo sa ating 5 items rationalization ng ating assignment. So, please like, share, and subscribe. Yun lang po everyone. Thank you so much. Bye guys! Don't forget to like and subscribe.